Good evening. This is just a simple plan that I threw together to take a look around at various ways you can change materials and the, what's the word I want? Order of seniority of setting materials. First place is, for walls anyway, is the wall itself. We'll just open this wall here. It's an siding 4 wall. Click on the define, click on the inside layer, and drywall set to it. If you wanted all the interior walls, interior sides of exterior walls to be something else, then a quick way to do it would be to make the change here in wall type definitions dialog. Excuse me. So just for demonstrations, I'm going to put some hickory on things, a dark hickory. And this applies to all siding 4 walls on the interior side. So when I click OK, voila. All of the interior sides of the exterior walls are now that. Same thing applies to like your interior walls. I just open one of the walls. You can go to the wall specification dialog box, define. You can see here I'm going to left click. We got drywall, left click, drywall. Go to plan material this time and hit the H key for hickory. There's that dark hickory stuff. That's that side of the interior wall. The other side's still drywall. Left click here, hit the H key, click OK. It was just a coincidence that dark hickory came up as the first choice. So you were asking about how you could do it quickly. Well, this is a way. You can see now all of the interior walls have that hickory junk on them because I told them to. Another way to change materials, you can just open the room dialog box and go to the materials tab, walls, and look here, it says drywall is the material. You can see that my setting the default material for the wall overrode this setting. The only point is that I'm trying to make here is that there is a seniority of settings. I'm going to take this wall here and put it back the way it was. Go to plan material, hit the D key for drywall. Yeah, okay. Did I do that right? Yeah, okay. Click here on the graphic, plan material, D key, okay. And then we'll go back. One of the exterior walls, you only have to do one. See, that's the point of it. You can do all of that wall type with just one dialog. Okay, now we're back to where we were. Let's go look at the room dialog box. It's got a wall setting. We'll hit the H key. Okay, and it did it for that room and only that room. Okay. And Control Z and undo it. Control Z is undo. Control Z, Control key, and then press the Z key. Okay, let's go to Edit, Default Settings, Materials. Yeah, Materials. And we got Walls Interior and Soffits. It's set to drywall. What if I was to change this to a different material? Let's just see what happens. Isn't this exciting? I'm just being snide. Don't worry about it. You know, nothing happened. Let me hit the F12 key a few times. Nothing happened. But yet that is the default materials for walls interior. Well, okay. Maybe it means if I draw a new wall, No, that isn't it. So what does that mean? Let's go to the soffit tool. And that said interior walls and soffit. It didn't apply to soffits either. Now, of course, I can set that material from the Materials tab in here. Let's get the H key. I was a little surprised, actually, that when I set this Edit Default Settings Materials to this, that it didn't show up. So I'm not quite sure exactly. I'd have to read the reference manual and find out exactly what this setting does. I'm going to put it back where it was. I'm just looking. Now you can take one wall. We'll click on that wall, hit the Tab key. Excuse me. Let me click on that wall, hit the Tab key. Yeah, there we go. And open its dialog box. I can go to that wall, that single instance of wall, and either an interior or exterior side. I'll put that dark hickory stuff on it. And there it is. And it only shows on just that wall. And you open the dialog box for the room, and it's set to drywall. You can override that group setting from the single dialog box of this wall. That's just another way. I think that was interior I set it to. Get the D key, put it back. Okay, and that's about the main ways. So let's take a look here. Edit Default Settings Materials again. And you can see that there's a category here, like window sash. Now, this tutorial isn't my attempt to try to show you every possible way materials can get set, but some of the relationships between Edit Default Settings and other things. Let's set this to dark hickory. I think that was H, wasn't it? Yeah. And that's window sash. Well, what does that mean? Let's click Done. We'll put a window in. Oh, look, there's that dark hickory stuff. Let's open window defaults. Oh, there's a dark hickory. This is sash. Yeah. See, it automatically put from Edit Default Settings Materials, it automatically went in here. Now, this is window defaults, and if I don't want that, I'm going to go to I think it was white or something. Maybe it's color white. Yeah, there it is. I don't know what it was. Doesn't matter what it was. C for color, or for C for C, and then color white. Now I just set that in defaults, and you can see it certainly affected this window. Let's see if it affects any new windows. It certainly does. We can go back to Edit Default Settings Materials, and this is still set as a default. My point here is that before you draw a complicated model, it's a good idea to keep all your ducks in a row. Whatever the majority material settings are for a particular kind of object, you set that up so that you don't set up paradoxes and arguments within the software. It just leads to goofy behavior. I'm going to put this on back to color white. I'm really set in my ways. Even in a plan I'm going to throw away in a couple of minutes, I try to keep things organized. That's the difference between me and some of the guys who have, some of the users who have odd problems and so forth. Perfectly good users and so forth, but your own habits kind of come back to bite you. I mean, you know, it applies wherever it applies. If it doesn't apply to you, fine. Okay, so we got wall dialog boxes, room dialog boxes, Edit Default Settings Materials, and then there's various. The last thing is this eyedropper tool. Just click on it, and I'm going to get this wood material. And you'll notice when you click on it on the material, it has these modes here. These are well explained in the reference manual, but the default mode is component mode. But you can apply materials in object mode, room mode, floor mode, the entire floor, one entire room, or the entire plan. Let's pick up that wood material and use the plan mode, and it puts wood everywhere on the walls. I'm going to hit Control Z, and let's look at the floor. Well, in this case, there's only one floor, so if you use the plan, it would do all floors of your plan. This will do the single floor that you're on. This one will do a room. Let's paint that material, and we get wood in just that room. Okay. I don't even remember exactly how these two divide up. Look it up in the reference manual, and then play around with it. I teach myself a lot of things by doing this, and it's just a video. I kind of already knew a lot of this stuff, but some of it I was a little bit surprised by because I just don't think about it. If I don't get the effect I want, I figure out what I did wrong and undo it, and then kind of drive on. I may be sounding a little snide and so forth, and I apologize for that. I mean everybody well, and I hope this video helps you. But there's no substitute for just knowing what you're doing and knowing how the tools and settings organize together to get a result. And it's not something that you learn overnight, and it takes time, and it takes even for somebody like me who've been using software for almost 20 years, I still have, if I'm having problems with something, I'll draw a simple little model like this and read the reference manual and then putz around with it until I get it straight. Oh, okay, that's how it works. And that's what I recommend to just about anybody, that set aside some time. It doesn't have to be every day, but whenever you are having difficulty with the software, just draw a simple model and play around with the tools that are giving you difficulties, and teach yourself. Teach yourself by practicing, by balance with study, and then practice putting into action what it is that you studied. And you can pretty much learn and teach yourself anything. Okay. Well, thank you. Good night.